Some takeaways from a Wednesday press conference. A little tight-lipped on some injuries, maybe not willing to give away a lot heading into this one, which completely understand. Totally fair. On the other side of things, the 49ers promoted wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling to their active roster, which we all anticipated. The news earlier was that they had signed him to the 53-man roster, moved on from wide receiver Russell Gage. So promoting Marquez is not a surprise. Bump, you already talked about kind of anticipating what he could bring to their team for this actual game. He will be playing in the game, or at least be active for this game. I would anticipate playing. I'm really curious to see this year's Seahawks. Mike Macdonald last year inherited a team where he certainly had influence over, right, like his defensive scheme, certainly some of the I would imagine personnel moves that they made, things like that. But we had talked about how there wasn't a ton of pressure. You're a first-year head coach. This team didn't make the playoffs. The expectation is that you just improve on your record. And they did. Like, they did improve. They improved as a defense, especially in the second half of the season. What's the expectation for this year? I think he's facing more as a second-year head coach.
Expectations are just to build off of what you started and how you finished that last season. They were a top 5, top 8 defense by the end of the year, if you break down just like the last, I guess, quarter, if you want to say, of the season. And then you've added to that. You've added another safety in MRA, and you have a lot of guys come back as well. Tyrese Knight is one that concerns me a bit. If he's not able to go, who did we speak to yesterday? Was it yesterday? We spoke to a football guy. Who was it? I don't know. Maybe it was Trey Wingo.
Rob Staten yesterday?
Yes, it was Rob. Thank you. He said, I asked him if there was a position of concern, and he mentioned a linebacker spot because of this. Because if Tyrese Knight isn't able to go, you have to rely on guys who are backups for a reason. No disrespect to Drake Thomas. No disrespect to Chaz Surratt, I believe, the guy that we got from the 49ers. But they're backups for a reason. So, yeah, that's one of my main concerns is what does this defense look like if you don't have your starting linebackers in there? Everywhere else, I think you're good. Even if, say, you were to get banged up a bit at the safety spot, you got Imawari. Say you were banged up a little bit at the corner spot, you got Nehemiah Pritchett, who is serviceable. But when you got a backup linebacker in there, I think you feel the effects more than if a guy were banged up on the outside.
Some key injuries at wide receiver. Jake Bobo's still in concussion protocol. Mike Macdonald just said we'll see how protocol goes in terms of his week 1 availability. You can't rush that. You can't play your way through it. You're either cleared or you're not. So TBD on Jake Bobo. Torrey Horton's working through an ankle injury. Mike Macdonald did say he's doing great. They're going to see how he is today in practice, which hasn't begun yet. So I guess I would anticipate if you're saying on Wednesday, yeah, he's doing good. We'll see how he is in practice, how he ends up being today. I would anticipate he plays. I don't know how optimistic I am that Jake Bobo clears concussion protocol. That's tough. Like, again, this sounds dumb, but either you're good to go or you're not.
Yeah,
you
concussions are – there's no, like – with concussions, with most injuries, every situation is different. But for some, you can kind of be like, all right, this is a 2-3 weeker. With concussions, I would check on him tomorrow and see how he's feeling. And you don't want to play with that either. Obviously, with all the information we know about concussions, it's a lot more than back in my day. Back in my day, I couldn't sleep. I had to be in a dark room. I couldn't talk to nobody. Mom had to wake me up every 2 hours. They know more about it now, and they're a bit more cautious about it now, as they should be. Because Jake Bobo, you're going to need him. I mean, you got rid of MVS for a reason because he didn't play special teams, and now Bobo is banged up. He's a special teams guy. But what that does, it creates more opportunity for Derek Young and for Cody White. So I hope Jake Bobo is healthy, but if not, I have no issues with Derek Young and Cody White.
That's a lot of unknown with your wide receiver group. What's your confidence level that Cooper Kupp can deliver more than some doubters think he will? I think most people look and go, oh, it's an old Cooper Kupp. So you have an old Cooper Kupp and JSN, and that's kind of how they see the wide receiver room for Seattle.
He don't move like an old Cooper Kupp. He doesn't move like the triple crown guy either. But he can be a number 2 on 90% of teams in the NFL, unless we're talking about Philly or Cincinnati or Miami, like teams with legit number 1s and number 2s. But no, Cooper Kupp is going to be just fine. The question with him is, can he stay healthy? How far into the season is he going to be able to go? If he stays healthy, he's a good number 2.
Yeah. I mean, again, this could be a wide receiver group that ends up surprising a lot of people. Maybe Horton, who, again, nursing an ankle injury right now, but Mike Macdonald said looks pretty good. We'll practice today. Maybe your wide receiver room ends up surprising a lot of people. I think that's a position group, though, that is entering the year with some doubt. Entering the room with a lot of optimism is Seattle's or entering the year with a lot of optimism is Seattle's defense. Their defensive line, Leonard Williams. You've got Byron Murphy entering another year. A lot of excitement around that. Your outside backers have had a massive question mark there with Uchenna. He was activated from PUP. We are hoping that he can go. Asked about it, though, Mike Macdonald said, we'll let Uchenna's situation play itself out right now. So there's going to be information later today about whether or not he practices. When would you worry about Uchenna?
I'm already worried.
When would it be like if he doesn't practice Friday and they say we'll take him up to game time? You're like, he's not playing.
See, I'm not with Uchenna. I don't anticipate him playing a lot early anyway. Even if he is healthy, good to go, I don't expect him to play a lot because you got to get into football shape. So I would start worrying about him as far as availability for the season if we get to like week 3 and he's not ready. Because you take your time with Uchenna. I mean, you want him out there on the field, but you got some guys who can play some ball. Mm-hmm. You got Derek Hall, excuse me. You got Boye Mafe. DeMarcus will be out there. You want Ivy, who had a decent preseason. You want him out there, but it's all about the marathon, man. This is forget the sprint.
I remember when Derek Hall was one of our first interviews of training camp, and we were both talking about how excited we were for this season. And one thing that we noted is, like, this guy's really confident. Mm-hmm. He sounds like he has grown a lot, not just physically, putting in time in the weight room and putting in time with his body and trying to be as strong as he possibly can, but mentally sounding much more sure of himself. Do you expect a breakout season from him? Maybe a big step forward from someone else on that defense? And I'm not talking about, like, we know Julian Love will be good, but like someone that can take a big step.
No, yesterday I pointed out him and Boye Mafe, and I believe they will because of the understanding of this defense, the natural maturation that happens when you have X amount of snaps in the league, and just the knowledge and confidence that you have. We talk about the confidence from Derek Hall. We felt it. We saw it. That's one of the first things we said to each other when he left the room after our interview. It was like, he's different. He feels different. He looks different. He's getting the fights out there. Yeah, he has to have a breakout season. So does Boye Mafe, especially if you're anticipating that Uchenna Nwosu isn't going to be on the football field possibly that first week. But I think they can handle it. I'm not worried about this defense. I am not worried. They're going to get beat at times. They're going to get gashed. Big plays will be made. But I'm not concerned about the resilience of this defense and the experience that they have. You're not counting on a bunch of rookies out there. Nick Emery will play, but you're not counting on Byron Murphy, the rookie, to fill the gaps. You're not counting on Tyrese Knight, the rookie, to get downhill and make tackles. Everyone on this defense, minus Nick, who you expect to make plays from, has experience and understands his defense.
Okay, so then with the Seahawks against the 49ers specifically in week 1, what are you concerned about?
I'm concerned with their offense. I'm concerned with the Seahawks offense against their defense. Just because I don't know, I just haven't seen it. Sam has to prove it. Ken Walker got to stay healthy. O-line got to go. But if we're talking about the 49ers offense, they got big playability. George Kittle, one of the best in the game. Christian McCaffrey, one of the best running backs in the game. I know he's old, but he still has big playability. NVS is still a good receiver. Pearsall, who showed last year, he has the ability. Juwan Jennings, who could be on some teams, I think he could be a number 1 receiver. He's just teamed up with Brandon Ayuk. It's the same old Niners stuff. And then you combine that with Shanahan calling plays. He knows what he's doing. But this is going to be a good battle for Mike Macdonald. Can he neutralize this potentially explosive 49ers offense?